Hello, everybody. It is seed starting day. Now, for this year, I'm gonna do things a little differently. Both, um, a cat just jumped on my table. Um, both how I do this video for seed starting and for how I am going about starting my seeds. This is closer to the process that uh, Mike and Josiah. I'm sure you've watched both of their videos. That kind of following along their line, and I've tested it out already, as you've seen in the previous video. So I'm gonna spin you around, and I kind of go through the steps that I took, and also tell you what seeds I'm gonna be doing this year. So let me spin you around. Whoa. All right, there we go. All right, first, let's start with what I'm going to be growing this year. And this is, you do a 2191 Almar. Well, you can read that, right? The 1846, and I have Speary. I apologize for butchering these names. And then the 1986, the 2200 Wolf, and this I think will be my backup of my backups, the 1673 Stealth, or it might be one of the of these two guys, one of these two. So that is lovely nails, eh? I was planting. Those are my seed lineups for this year. And what I did at work today on my lunch break, I took all my seeds and I filed them, or sanded the sides. And if you can see the three different layers, the light, dark, and the light, that's what you're looking for. That's about as far as you want to go. And what that does, it helps shed this cold, because as you can see, some of the seeds can get pretty thick. But you can skip that step if you have a seed that's a little bit lighter coat, where the coat's a little thinner. Then it doesn't really need to be sanded around the edges, because it should be able to pop out there pretty easily. But I typically do anyways, just because. Then I soaked them, and I soaked them because I was right before I left work. I put them in these little medicine containers. I brought some kelp, and I put a pinch of kelp in each one, and then I put the seeds in there, and then I labeled it, and I also labeled the seeds. So then while that was soaking, about a half hour to an hour, these guys, the thicker shells, can go for a good hour, hour and a half. You can go longer if you want to, but I don't. These guys don't need as much time. They need maybe a half hour, roughly. Alright, so then I made my potting mix, which is a lot different. Oh, the supervisor is with me. Which is a little bit different than what I've been doing, and I've discovered that has been my problem for the past 2 or 3 years, why my leaves have been looking stressed and gnarly. And it's been not my light. My grow light's been okay, but it's been what I've been using. And in the past, I used just peat moss and perlite. And I found out also from talking from Mike that is what was my major issue. So this method right here, which is pretty close to what Mike uses, but this is actually what Josiah Brandt, his method of potting mix, and this is a smaller bag. Whatever reason, they didn't let me buy the biggest bag they had, so I bought 4 of these, which basically equals a big bag. And this is 12 quarts, So about 4 of these. So that is what, 48 quarts of this Fox Farm potting soil. And then with that, I used a 1/4 cup of this back guano, and then a full cup of this green sand. And then I also sprinkled in there some azos and some granular mycorrhiza. And then with my water that I used, I poured some Orca mycorrhiza, and I, moistened the potting mix with that. Now, when you are mixing water with your potting mix, I don't have an exemplar here, I apologize, but you want to get it moist enough that when you put it in your hand and you squeeze it, water starts to come out of, come out of each one of your fingers, and one single drop is dripping from your hand. When you get to that mixture, then you're golden. So then you come over here, and these are 3/4 gallon containers, and I filled them up to basically about 1 inch below the surface, just so I have something to grab them onto. So maybe let's say they're growing in 5/8 of a gallon ish, probably a little healthier than that, but you get it. So what I did here was I filled it up to that level, very lightly, packed it all down, and then with my fingers, I pulled it back, so about 1 inch down, and then I placed my seeds sideways like that, and I found that works pretty well, because then it picks up, and it kind of helps the seed shell come out as well. So I've been putting them like this, this flat down. I used to put them, side down, this pointy end down, but I since then changed it. So then also what I like to do is I marked the containers, and I marked on here with little popsicle sticks. And before I started soaking the seeds and putting them in here, I wrote down the number on the seed as well. So then once I got it all planted, I put some saran wrap over each one, and then I put a rubber band on here, but I suspect they're all gonna break. They're kind of old, but it should get the plastic formed and easy to transport, because this one broke already. So that's how I got up to this process, and I will take you in here and show you next what I will be doing. And it doesn't want to focus, so I'll bring it right back. All right, so now I brought them into the grow tent, and the crinkling you hear are my supervisors, aka my cats. Now I have them on a piece of styrofoam, and then a heat mat on top of that, and then all the pots are sitting on there. And then I have a here I have a temperature probe in both pots. Both mats. So I have a probe in that one, and I have it in that one, and I have, which are hooked up to right here. And one heating mat's potting mix is at 68 degrees, and the other one's at about 64 degrees. So, and I have that set up to be at 82 degrees. And then what I'm also gonna do, I have that little space heater in here, and that'll keep this room around 75 degrees. And then I'm going to put, there's 2 blankets here. I'm going to put both of those on top of here to help insulate and hold in the heat for the first 2 days. So I'll show you what that looks like. So I'll be right back. All right, so there. Basically what you would expect. 2 blankets on top of all the pots. So then, like I said, I'll keep that on for 2 days. And then on the 3rd day, I will take that off because then it's getting close for them to poke out. I'll keep these lights off, and then we just gotta wait patiently. And hopefully in 3 days, they'll be popping up. So that's about it, guys. So I will follow this up with another video once they sprout out and kind of let you know my thoughts about then. A little lost for words there, I apologize. But other than that, guys, until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.